And that breaking news, a man who got his naval training at Great Lakes goes on a shooting rampage in the Washington Naval Yard. 13 people are dead in a firefight so intense it's been described as a running gun battle. It happened inside a secure building, inside a secure base.
And it happened less than 3 miles from the White House. There are still many questions, but this is what we know so far. At least 13 people are known dead, one of them the gunman.
Police say he is Aaron Alexis of Fort Worth, Texas. He did his training at Great Lakes Naval Station. That's about 55 miles south of Milwaukee. He was heavily armed, and authorities have not ruled out a second gunman.
Witnesses report those shots came from the 4th floor of a building, aiming down on people in the 1st floor cafeteria. The motive for this shooting is not known. Steve Handelsman reports.
More than 6 hours after the first shots were fired, police were still swarming the Navy Yard, fearing one or more shooters might still be on the loose.
We do still have an active search for potentially additional suspects right now, so we're asking people to please remain in their homes and stay out of the area.
It had been a normal Monday morning at the military complex at Building 197. Then came the shots.
And there was an individual who came from the building behind us, the maintenance building. He came up, was talking to me, basically saying that, hey, here, there's a shooter in your building. And then I heard 2 more shots. One of them hit him. He went down in front of me, and then I took off from there.
Other witnesses described a dark-skinned man, maybe in fatigues, with a long gun, on an inside balcony, firing down at people below.
We now have a total of 13 fatalities, including the shooter.
Washington went into partial lockdown. Planes stopped at Reagan National Airport. Senators told to shelter in place in the Capitol. President Obama from the White House.
I've made it clear to my team that I want the investigation to be seamless so that federal and local authorities are working together. We will do everything in our power to make sure whoever carried out this cowardly act is held responsible.
Police soon reported one shooter down, shot dead, Aaron Alexis, 34 years old, from Fort Worth, Texas. Police said a second of 3 men being sought, described as white, wearing khaki, was no longer a suspect. As of mid-afternoon, authorities were still looking for why and who else might have killed and terrorized in Washington. Here's what we know about the man the FBI says was a shooter here today. Aaron Alexis was 34. Grew up in Flushing, New York, where a neighbor told NBC News today he was a quiet child. Alexis served in the U.S. Navy. He lived most recently in Fort Worth, Texas, where a man who says he was Alexis's best friend describes him as a Buddhist who spoke fluent Thai, but got in trouble with police for discharging a firearm. Police say he died here today. At the Washington Navy Yard, I'm Steve Handelsman, NBC News.
And let's go over what we know about Aaron Alexis so far. Again, he was 34 years old, born in New York City, but living for the past several years in Fort Worth, Texas. He was a full-time naval reservist in Texas until 2011. He took his basic naval training at Great Lakes Naval Station in Glenview, Illinois. NBC News reporting Alexis recently began working as a civilian contractor for the U.S. Navy.